I'm about to give you a framework that will unbelievably transform your business and life. It's called the 5 needle movers, and it made me and forced me, going through that painful part of the business growth, to go and figure out what were the priorities in the business. And it took us into a multi-million-dollar business across dance, kickboxing, and yoga. And you can absolutely have everything you want for and out of your business if you just follow these 5 needle movers. As I walk you through these 5 needle movers, please remember the number 60. Really important number, 60%. Brendan Burchard did a bunch of work and study, him and his organization, on high performers. And what they found was these high performers spent about 60% of their week on average on the big stuff, on the needle moving activities, which really shifted their business or their career or their life forwards. So the number 1 needle mover, and let me tell you at this point, and I'll keep reminding you as we go through the 5, these are in hierarchical order. Number 1 is the most important one, and it's new students through the front door. Your job as the business owner is to make sure no matter what else is going on, whatever distractions you have, whatever bullshit comes up, all the things that need fixing, all the issues in the business, all the communications, the teaching, everything that has to happen in your business, is that before you get too involved in any of that, you have to make sure that you get really clear on where your business is going. How many students do you need each month to achieve where you're going? There's 2 major steps there. Where are you going, first of all? Most instructors, most owners I speak to, I ask them what their goals are, where they're heading. 90% of the time, they don't know. And there's a big problem with that. If you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. There's a famous old Zig Ziglar quote, and it's so freaking true. So number 1, you've got to figure out where you're going. Where do you want your business to be in 6, 12, 18, 24, whatever the time frame, you choose. But if you want X amount of students by X date, you do the math, you figure out how many you're losing each month as a percentage, do some basic math, and you will come to a number. We need 10 a month signed up, we need 20, we need 40, we need 100. Whatever your number is, get clear, and then your job is to build the team and the systems and put the time and energy and focus into making sure that number happens every month before you do anything else. I cannot emphasize the importance of this. If you take nothing else from this training, please hear me, because this is why we've built to 2.5 million US and we're continuing to build with 2,500 members. The major reason is I'm obsessive over the front end of the business, because I learned a long time ago that there's not a problem in your business or your schedule that can't be solved with the right amount of new students coming in each month. Because when you put the right amount of students each month, and it's a really clear distinction, the right amount, not just new students, because that could be any amount, but the right amount of new students each month, when you do that as the business owner, you will always have cash flow to deal with problems and challenges that come up, and to pour money back into the business, into marketing, into people, into teams, into systems, into software, coaches, mentors. One of the biggest challenges I see with owners is a lot of owners think they can kind of stay still. A lot of people are just trying to maintain, and there's a big pitfall to trying to maintain. If you're trying to maintain that, invariably you will end up just sneaking backwards. Why? Because you're always going to have people leave, you're going to have things come up, you're going to have problems and challenges, costs will rise in the business, you'll hit different tax thresholds, you'll take on more team and costs. So you think you can maintain, but all the while things are kind of dragging your profit margin down. You have absolutely got to get clear on how many students you need each month, and then you do that as a priority above everything. So the second needle mover is what we call upgrades. You may use that terminology, you may not, so let me just define it real quick. Is just having a student buy something other than their weekly classes that they attend. It's an amazing part of the business. Whenever I speak to business owners in our beautiful niche, most owners are only generating about an extra 10, 15, maybe 20% at best extra revenue for their business from the extras. So we as a business do about an extra 75%. We're aiming and trying to build our business where for every dollar a student spends on their weekly classes they attend, that as a business we can generate another dollar to match it on average across the board. And it's an amazing revenue producer for your business, that's one. But equally, it gives you a chance to have great impact on your members as well. You get to create things that are stunning and wonderful that they can be part of and they can participate in. Like, it's a win-win-win. And you create opportunities for your team. You know, I've got team members who earn really good money just running little part-time side things alongside whatever else they do, because we've been able to create something that they can go and run. I've got team members who work for us full-time and earn full-time incomes from running parts of our business, because we've figured out and put some attention on figuring out good upgrades, providing great services and experiences for our students through the upgrade process. Last year, we turned over 2.5 million US across our dance, yoga, and kickboxing brand. And about somewhere in the region of about 1.1-ish, I think about 1.1 million was from the extras, from the upgrades. So we collected about 1.3.5, 1.4-ish on the membership fees, them paying to come to classes. We generated about another 1.1 million-ish, somewhere in that sort of ballpark, of extras. Now, some of the extras we have in martial arts, we do gradings, really common. If you run martial arts, you'll know that, it's very encultured. We have instructor training programs. Last year, we sold somewhere in the region of 500,000 US dollars worth of instructor training programs. We sell franchises. We sold 8 last year, which was around 150,000 US coming into the business. We sell kit, equipment. We run camps where we take a bunch of students off to do the thing, the kickboxing or the dance or the yoga more in depth over a short period of time. So this is just a few ideas for you just to get your brain percolating and get the creative juices flowing. Here's the key bit if you want to do upgrades. You've got to put something together that actually has value, of course. Don't just put something together just to make money. It won't sell and it won't feel true and wholesome to you anyway, and you won't like it. Go and create something that actually has value. Think about, talk to students, talk to your team, contemplate what could you put into place that would actually have a really positive impact on your student, and it's something like a percentage of them will be willing to pay for, and then go figure out how to piece it together and sell it. Needle mover number 3, developing your team. Here's how you define your team. Do they do any work whatsoever to support your business? If they do 2 hours a week on admin, they're your team. If it's your wife or husband, partner, if they are at home and they're supporting something within your business, they're part of your team. Like, everyone who supports your business in moving forwards is your team member. And the third needle mover, where we focus a ton of our time to build our business, is developing the team. Why? Well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm sure you can figure it out. But if we develop our team, we get great team members to push the business forwards. And it's so funny, it's one of those really obvious ones, but as I say, common sense is not always common practice. We see things are obvious, we kind of get them intellectually, but we forget to build them into a habit and a system and a process. When you do this, you'll start to see your whole business and culture elevate. Why? Because you're giving time and attention and energy to the growth of the individuals that are actually making your business what it is. It's a stunning ROI in your business. It's the right thing to do. If you don't do it, you'll struggle to ever build a business. You'll be stuck over here as the type of business owner that's just stupidly busy, running around like a headless fool, never being able to actually enjoy their business and burning out and being frustrated and semi-broke forever because you're just stuck in the mix trying to do everything. So needle mover number 4, you personal development. This is so unbelievably important. I could almost have this number 1, almost. It's not quite there. I think we've got them in the right order for us. And again, you can play around with this. You can create your own 5 in whatever order you want, but just make sure you put some time and energy into thinking about it. You want it to be the right kind of hierarchical system for you. Again, please borrow ours, use ours, it'll serve you well. But number 4, personal development. Why? Because you will always and forever, until you've built a business that doesn't need you at all, till you get to that point, you will always be the bottleneck in the next level of growth of your business. Let me say it again. You will always be the bottleneck in the next level of growth of your business. How do I know? Been there, done it, got the t-shirt about 30 times. And every time, even now where we're at with the business, as the business expands to its next level, it requires a new version of me again to allow the business to expand. The truth is, when we enter into business, we're at this level, and wherever that's at. You might be a great human being with loads of great personality traits and skills, I agree. But it very rarely, if ever, translates into a great business owner. There are certain skill sets and mindsets and competencies and capabilities that a great business owner has to have, that until you've been through the growth of running a business, no one has them naturally. Sorry to burst your bubble. They just don't sit naturally inside of us, because all of our insecurities, it's one of those places, running a business, where every single foible, every insecurity, every doubt, every limit in our skill, our knowledge, our thinking, it all gets highlighted. If we're sitting here and we don't grow, I'm just gonna be who I've always been, this is just me, then the business is trying to expand under me, but it's kind of in a container like that big, right? And I'm the bottleneck up here. And if I keep the pressure there and I don't expand me, if I don't grow to become more and thus move that bottleneck upwards, all this is trying to grow and eventually it will just explode or implode or break down because I'm not letting anything, I'm just holding it all down, or I'll break. But then if I break, the business will break anyway because I haven't built the systems and processes and teams to take it over because I've been a bottleneck. I cannot tell you how freaking important this is. You've got to read the books. You've got to hire the coaches. You've got to go to the seminars. You've got to watch people like me telling you what to do and how I've done it. So kudos for watching this video. You've got to do the learning because I can guarantee you, I don't know you personally, but I would bet my life you've got a ton of doubts and insecurities and beliefs that limit you and small thinking, and you've got a gap in your skills and capabilities. You want to be there in your business, you're there. You don't have the skill that would get you through this gap, to get you to that next level. It all has to be learned and developed and habitualized as a business owner. And you do that through constant learning. You know, I was so blessed. I went into a bookshop in Bristol in England when I was about, 15, 16, something like that. So just over 30 years ago. And I just started martial arts a year or two before. And so I was looking in the martial arts section. And there was a book in the martial arts section called Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. You know, the old adage that people say, it kind of leapt off the shelf at me. It kind of did, and it got my attention. I bought that book. It utterly changed my life. I then went and found meditation groups because I kind of got this idea of this sort of more spiritual path and being happier in life. And that led me on to books and seminars and coaches and mentors. And you know, at this point in time, I've probably read 700 books on personal, spiritual development and business and psychology. I've hired dozens of coaches. I've been to dozens of in-person events, and all for the purpose of bettering me. And now I've been running this business and we're kind of starting to build it. I see more and more why it's so important that the level of Tim I'm at now needs to become the next version of me so that the business can expand under me. It's so important. Please don't overlook this one. Read the books, go to the seminars, hire the coaches, listen to the podcast, watch these videos, everyone else's videos, but do the work to develop you. And we just need to get us out the way, i.e. stop being the bottleneck in the business. And the fifth and final needle mover in this series is developing you as an instructor. Again, you can have this as your fifth, you can change it and have something else, it's entirely up to you. The reason I have this, and if you're watching this, you probably run a dance, gymnastics, martial arts, CrossFit, yoga, Pilates class, or whatever in-person class. So you're good at what you do. I have no doubt you are a world-class instructor, you're great at what you do. But there's always room for improvement, for one. And secondly, the reason I put this in, certainly for my team, I don't do a lot of teaching now, but certainly put this in for my team's development. Through the years, whenever I've heard someone tell me that they love their boss or they've got a great boss or whatever language they use, I've always asked them, like, why? What is it? Because I've always been interested in leadership. Why do you love them? What is it about them that you love? And I'll never forget a time where ex-girlfriend of mine years ago, about 25 years ago, and she turned around one day and was glowing about how amazing her boss was. I was like, well, hold on, because I've heard you slag your boss off a million times. Like, you've called him a dick many times in my presence, right? When you've been talking about him. I was like, why are you glowing about him? She said, he's like, yeah, but he's fucking great at what he does. And that always stuck with me. And obviously you don't want to be a dick, but being great at your stuff is kind of okay and it balances out. We don't want to be a dick also, right? As a leader, we want to be nice and kind to our people. Your team will enjoy being around you when you're good at your shit. And I worked for a martial arts organization years ago, and I'll never forget when I joined it. And the guy was like, he was a very high level Taekwondo practitioner, martial arts, and he'd won multiple titles, and he was good. He was very good at what he did. And he was quite charming and charismatic. And when I went and joined his team, I was blown away by how much his team adored him. It was like a hero worship every time he walked into the dojo, into the offices every day. They just worshipped him, they loved him, but in a good way, in a really positive way. They were so enamored and respectful of who he was. And truth be told, mostly because of his capability in the Taekwondo. Because when I actually worked there for a while and saw his leadership style, it left a lot to be desired. He was charismatic and charming, but a bit of an asshole and slave driver and whip cracker all the time and didn't treat people that well. But the level of admiration and respect he had from his team was off the charts because he was flipping good at what he did. So we put that in ours. Number 5, Be freaking good at what you do. Keep working on your development as an instructor. Like whatever business you're in, CrossFit, yoga, Pilates, dance, martial arts, kids soccer, whatever it is, keep honing your craft of getting better at the thing and or getting better at your conveyance of the thing, your teaching of the thing. So there you go. Those are our 5 needle moving activities. Remember the magic number, 60% of your working week. And I want to just leave you with one thing in this training. If you take nothing else from watching this, make number 1 on the hierarchical list the main thing. Keep the main thing, as our fabulous Stephen Covey wrote all those years ago. New students through the front door. If you do nothing else, even if you change the other 4, do what you like with this training. If you do nothing else, make a priority focus every working week to bring the right amount of new students into your business, especially if you're struggling. If you don't have enough cash flow, you don't have enough students, don't have enough new members joining your business, prioritize every freaking day of the week, building the team and the systems and the processes that bring those people in. Life will flourish. You'll have a great time. For more trainings like this, hit subscribe, turn the notifications on. I shall see you on another video very soon.